With interest in single Magic cards at an all-time high, players need to be aware that many of these cards are really considered traps for Wizards of the Coast to make a lot of money. In today's video, we are going to be discussing what cards you should be avoiding right now for fear of the dreaded reprint. When you understand your consumer, you will understand how to make more money from those people. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. A reminder that if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notification bells, new videos every single day. So what are we talking about? Well, you've probably noticed lately, guys, that the singles market has been really hot. Not a little bit. I'm talking the singles volumes are growing exponentially because players are utilizing their ability to decide with their wallets. They're like, I'm not buying a sealed box hoping for a card. I'm not playing the lottery game. I want a specific card. I want to get that one card that is going to tweak my deck to make it more powerful, to make it more playable, to make it more competitive. And that means players are spending a lot more money than other people may think they're spending. You can spend $60, $70, $80 on a single Magic card that's not even on the reserve list. But this gives Wizards of the Coast pause. When you look at what happened with 30th Anniversary, they're kind of a pseudo attempt to breach the reserve list, to go around it backdoor style. It didn't work out so well. So Wizards of the Coast has gone back to the basics of what they know how to do well, which is make money from the consumer base. Now, they do this in various ways, and they are jacking up prices, slimming down the product lines. We got play boosters coming on board, absolutely. But they make a lot of money from reprint target sets that are premium priced products. They didn't have a real good grasp when they first got into this business of doing that. When they tried things like Time Spiral Remastered and some of these other smaller premium products, when they jumped in and tried Throne of Eldraine collector boxes and different variants, it isn't always the variants that matter so much to players anymore. We don't really care, but you do want to have the card. When we had Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, how hard was it to get some of those dragons? Depending on the decks and the styles and when these boxes were being purchased, all these different variant Magic box collections that players want to get their hands on have one or two cards that really matter to the players. No matter what format you're playing in, they want to get their hands on it for Modern, for Commander, for Legacy, Vintage, Pauper, I don't care. There's always a couple of cards. And Wizards of the Coast knows this. They take those cards when they realize how much those cards are spiking in value, and they add it to some premium price product, or they slam it down into a secret layer, some way of getting it reprinted, which means you as a player, you need to avoid buying some of these cards at really tricky time slot times. You understand we have Modern Horizons 3 coming around the corner. It's coming in 2024. And Wizards of the Coast is more likely than not going to jack up the price a little bit, and they are going to saturate that set with a whole bunch of really key powerful cards, either in art variant, different styles, but cards that players have been wanting to get their hands on, which really means there are cards players should be avoiding right now. Spending $70, $80 on a card that in 6 months from now you can get for 40, 50 bucks or even less, depending on how common they make that card. I mean, just look at what's going to happen with Ravnica Remastered and the Shocklands, and you'll get an idea of how Wizards of the Coast likes to do business. They're in the business of making money. Yeah, they got a great game. They got a great thing going. They got to feed Papa Hasbro. Papa Hasbro wants their tithe. They want their cut. They want a slice of the flesh. And they want it every time. So, what does this mean? It means there's cards you got to avoid. There's cards you should not be buying right now. And at least hang your hat and wait. Because these cards really can't go any higher. There is a ceiling on what these cards can do. Because players realize they're going to get reprinted. But you should not be caught in the crossfire by being unaware of what the market will do if a card gets printed or not reprinted. When a card doesn't get reprinted, what's going to happen is that card kind of stays near the surface level. Let's just say $100, kind of like the most expensive cards now. If it doesn't get a reprint, players in their minds, other people out there, the secondary market, the speculators, all put together when they think the next chance will be. It's quite a while. It's quite a while. Modern Horizons 3 is probably the best bet right now other than a secret layer surprise. So for some of these cards, I just want to share some of them with you and show you what I'm talking about, okay? So let's go down here. Let me show you card number 1. This is the Ancient Copper Dragon, pre-release card here. Now, this one's like 83 bucks, and these things are selling, okay? When you go on TCG Player and you look at any of these cards, you'll see multiple copies selling every single week, all over the place. Not enough to make one of my top 10 weekly videos, but it definitely is enough to make me pause and say, at 80 something dollars US, that is over $100 Canadian to get this card here in Canada. You are looking at a hefty amount of money. And when you look at something like Modern Horizons 3, what are the chances of a card like this ending up in that set? You'll see what I'm talking about. Some of these cards are more likely going to show up because they will help sell the product. They help give players hope that there is value there for them. Now, when we take a look at our next card, when we see something like Edgar Markov going up to almost 200 bucks. Now, they could add this to a secret layer. They could add this to some new Judge promo thing, of course, or some other way of getting this card out there. But more likely, at 200 bucks a card, and it's been spiking lately because of the Eminence power, this kind of card showing up in something like Modern Horizons 3 would really add an anchor point of value, something other than a Mana Crypt. This thing is something that players will want to get their hands on. They recognize the value and what it can do to your deck. And anybody who loves vampires knows that this is a card you always want to get. And this thing was back in Commander 2017. It's not that long ago. And look at the value now attributed to this card. It is one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive, non-reserve list card I've seen in quite a while, other than Mana Crypt. Now, here we go again to our next card, and we take a look at this, and you see Sheoldred the Apocalypse from Dominaria United. $89, and this thing has been reprinted already. And because of the scarcity of the card, and the fact we didn't open as much Dominaria United as was expected, the price has stayed up on several fronts. The different versions, the Phyrexian, the regular, the foil arts, the full arts, the different variant artworks, whatever you want to call it, the value has stayed higher than expected. And because of that, and let's face it, this thing's a brutal card to face against. When you see this card at that value level, players want to get their hands on it and they want to cash in. So players who already own this card might be selling them off sooner than you think, hoping to capitalize on the value, thinking it's going to get a reprint sooner in a bigger set. This kind of card at this price point we're looking at, $110 Canadian, is insane. $89 US is nuts. And yes, I know you can get it cheaper. I know when you look around, these cards kind of still go up and down in price, but it's not a big enough shift. These prices are high, which means they are perfect, primed reprint targets. Now, it doesn't always have to be massive cards. Orcish Bowmaster made my top 10 and sold thousands of copies. Okay, this thing is designed to brutalize cards. I mean, look what it did to Ragavan. The card was only around for a couple of years, and Ragavan's lost like more than half of its value, and it's insane to think that the Orcish Bowmaster's taken it out. And with that generic name, they can reprint this thing multiple times. They knew what they were doing when they created this card. It's $50-something now. What happens when the money moves on and Lord of the Rings doesn't become the big thing for players to crack into? Well, something like Orcish Bowmaster is going to start going up $1 or $2 every month. It's just going to start shifting upwards. So if you're one of those players who got this card and are holding on, it's great. You own the card. Fantastic. If you're a player thinking about buying it, I would at least wait to see what happens with Modern Horizons 3, at least. Or to see if they announce some kind of secret layer that keys in on some of these cards and maybe allows you to save some money. Yes, Wizards will make cash from you still, but it's not the same deal. Now, how about something like Esper Sentinel, another card that made my top 10 that hasn't been there in a long time. This is a Modern Horizons 2 card, $39 plus, and these are all selling hundreds, if not thousands of copies, guys, every week. When you look at this card and you see the sales volumes, what would make you think Wizards wouldn't include it, at least in some variant or special art frame, in Modern Horizons 3, making it a more readily available card and bringing the price down? These kind of cards, at these price points, should give you pause, should make you think about where you're spending your money. These cards are not protected. They are prime targets to get reprinted sooner rather than later. And because of the price point, it's a big flag to Wizards of the Coast saying there is money here that we can add to sets. Now, I don't know where they would put them in. I don't know if they're going to rejig how they're going to present premium products or what new wording they'll put in. Is it going to be another Master Series product? Are they going to end the Master Series? Are they going to bring around some new weird way of doing it like a Modern Horizons type set? I don't know, but it's all just wolves in sheep's clothing selling the same thing. They're selling you on a card that they're going to devalue. So you might as well wait for the devaluation, because it's probably coming sooner rather than later. Thanks a lot, guys, for hanging out. I hope this video gave you a little bit of pause, a little bit of information on what you should be looking for, because with these kind of cards and the length of time they've been around, some of these cards are going to take a little bit longer, which means you might get a little bit more playtime out of them, but more likely than not, the price tag of these cards necessitates a faster reprint to keep the prices in check, or power creep comes in and makes the card obsolete. Thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here on the channel with me today. I'm looking forward to seeing those comments in the comment section. And of course, Happy New Year to everyone. I'll see you for another video tomorrow. Have a great day. I'll thank you and shout out to the fantastic patrons we have supporting the channel each and every day. Because of these amazing patrons and their patronage of the channel, daily uploaded content is made possible. Thanks again to all those amazing supporters. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble, guys. And yeah, Wizards lacks restraint. That's the problem with their secondary market. They just see cash, 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 and they want to get it as fast as they can. They're not slow and steady wins the race. It's always a rush when it comes to these kind of companies, and that's the problem they have. This is what they're facing off with, because players aren't as gullible as they used to be, but these kind of moments when players get this stuff, or they get excited, and I see this many sales, it makes me realize that the singles market really is ruling the day, and the lack of product being open because of the price point means some of these cards are probably going to go even higher in value, which is just more flags for Wizards to say, money over here, look down there, there's money. Freaks me out, guys. Anyway, I want to thank you guys. Happy New Year, man. I hope you're having an awesome day. Thanks for hanging with the Ramble Jamble today. It does make me a little bit nervous when I see this many cards of this much value and this many thousands of copies trading hands all the time. Even Edgar Markov, man, hundreds of copies selling a whole bunch of wish list cards that people want to get their hands on. Freaking me out. Thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. Thanks for being here on the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And of course in the comment sections with thumbs up. And if you're buying on TCG Player, don't forget to use my affiliate link. We need more money on the channel. We got to get some great cards here for our patrons. Have a great one, guys.